Hello everybody, Jamie the Board Game Man here. In today's episode, we're going back to the year 2019. This game is by Pandasaurus. It's a 2 to 4 player game. It's called Ohanami. Now in this game, it's a card drafting game where you're actually taking 2 cards, you pass it to the next player, and until everyone has 10 cards that they have passed along, and you have almost similar to Sushi Go, where you grab a card, you pass it along. It's the same thing, but you grab 2 cards. And at the end of the first round, you do scoring, but the real strategy in this game is the scoring. That's what makes the game. So let's head on over to the gamers table, where I'm going to show you how to play Ohanami. Alright everybody, here we are at the gaming table. Let's go for Ohanami. Let's take a look. Alright, so you can see there's not many components to the game. It's a card game. You have 120 cards, and they're all numbered from 1 to 120. You also have your instruction booklet, which just kind of folds out just like this, which is really nice, front and back. And then you also have the score pad, which looks just like this, which we'll go over. They don't give you too many. But the good thing is, when I bought this, I actually got lucky. Someone actually laminated one of these. So that's really, really nice. So I'll be able to use this instead of kind of blow through these. And that's pretty much it. That's all that's in the components of the game. Let me go ahead and show you how to set up. So first and foremost, what you're going to do is every player is going to start off with 10 cards. So you're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll just do a quick little 2-player. That way I can show you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so on, and then these cards get put aside. Each player is going to go ahead and look at their 10 cards, and this game kind of, sort of runs like Racco, if you've ever played Racco, where you're trying to put numbers that are lower on the bottom and then numbers higher on the top, and the object of the game is you're trying to score the most points after 3 rounds. Once you put these cards down, you cannot put any numbers in between. So let's just say I'm looking at these and I decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go with, but try to find 2 numbers that are the closest for the most part. Let's see, how about I go, let's see, I'm going to go with 93 and 101. So what I'll do is in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and take 2 cards. I'm going to go ahead and at first go ahead and place them face down in front of me. Then this player is going to go ahead and go through their 10 cards and decide which 2 they want to keep in their stash. So let's just say we've got these 2. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to these 2. So I'm going to go ahead and hang on to these 2. Now as soon as both players have decided which 2 they want to keep, they're going to go ahead and flip them over. Now what they can do is they can keep both of them in the same garden if they want, or they can make 2 different gardens, because you can go up to 3 different gardens. So in this case, this player here decided to go 93 and 101. So what you need to do, I'm sorry, I should put a higher on the top, sorry, just like that. I did it the opposite way. There we go. Alright, so now from here on out, in this garden only for this player, all the cards that are underneath 93 must be lower than 93, and any cards that are over 101 need to be on top of it. This player decided to go on 53 and 61. So now, right now, he cannot play any cards that are 54 to 60. Alright, because they're right in between there. All you can do is add cards on the bottom and the top. Alright, so each player decided they're going to go ahead and do 1 of each. So they have 1 garden here, 1 garden here. Then you're going to go ahead and switch cards. This player is now going to look and see what they have. And he decides he's going to take this one. And he's going to go ahead and take, let's see here. He's going to go ahead and take this one here. He's going to take these 2 cards. This player is going to look at the cards and see what we got going here. These 2 here. Alright, so I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, so he's going ahead and both players have chosen the 2 cards they want to go. So usually whoever's done first shows their cards first, not that it really matters. But, so this player here picked a 90 and a 67. So what he wants to do here is he's going to go ahead and place the 90 right here, which is a good one here. And he's going to go ahead and start a second garden here at 67. He decides he's looking over here. He's got an 83 and a 73. He's going to go ahead and just make a second garden here. And so on. This is what you're going to do back and forth. You're going to go ahead and switch cards again. You're going to take 2 cards. You're going to lay them down, and so on. I'll go ahead and finish this one round just to kind of show you how this goes. Now, the good thing to know is when you take 2 cards, you do not necessarily have to play them. So if, say you take 2 cards and you're looking at what your neighbor has, and you go, you know what, that person can really use this, or that person can really use that, you can actually take those 2 cards and just discard them. Like so. You do not have to use the cards that you draw. So it has a little bit of a take that to it too, where you know that someone's got a good run over here, and the colors make a big difference too, which I'll go over in just a second, as soon as we get this situated. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead, and just to kind of speed this up a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and take these 2. Alright, this player is going to go ahead and look at these cards, determine what he wants to do, and he's going to go with this and this. Alright, so he takes those 2 cards. This player decides he has a 115 and a 70. He's going to go ahead and put the 70 on top, because it's literally 3 difference there, so that is great. And the 115, he's going to go ahead and place over here, just to speed this up. Okay? This player has these 2 cards. He has a 25 and a 46. He's going to go ahead and put the 46 here. This 25 is pretty low, and he's going to go ahead and just start a new garden here. So you can start up 3 gardens. Okay, and then they're going to switch cards once again. I think you get pretty much the gist here. I'm just going to go like this. He's going to take these 2 cards, and then this player is going to go ahead and take, let's see, these 2 cards like so. Okay, and he's going to go ahead and put the 11 here, and put the 94 here. He's going to take these 2 cards. Oh, we've got 2 cards left. They're going to switch them, and then you automatically get the last 2 cards. So you would put the 119 here, and let's just say he puts a 6 up here. So each player has 3 gardens going. Then you got these 2 here. He has a 1 and a 3. He'll probably go like this and do like this. Okay. Now that's after the first round. So you can see all players, now you need to play 3 rounds. So you have to continue these gardens. So that's one thing you got to remember. The gardens do not just renew at the end of each round. So you have to keep adding in round 2 and then round 3. Now this is the interesting part, and the strategy part of the game, the strategic part of the game, is the scoring. I'm going to take this laminated one. Hopefully you can see it pretty good here. Yeah, okay, good. You know what? There might be a glare. Let's go ahead and use this. So here is the scoring pad. Now you'll see in round 1, it has a little blue mark there, and it says ×3. Okay? So all you're going to do in the first round is score the blue cards only. You get 3 points for each one of those blue cards. So in this case, player 1 has 3 points. Player 2 has 2 of them. They have 6 points. That's all the scoring you do in the first round. Then you're going to do a second round. Each player has 10 cards. You're going to do the same thing I just did. Then at the end of the second round, you're going to score again every one of those blue cards total. So if you manage to add more blue cards to your garden, you're going to add the original ones and the ones you added, and you'll also get 3 points for each one of these. In this round, you're also going to add the green cards. The green cards will add ×4. So for each green card you have, you get 4 points each. So say, this is the end of round 2, you get 4, 8, 12 points, and he would get 4 points for that one. At the end of round 3, you have 3 points again for each blue card, 4 points for each green card, and every gray card you get 7 points per each one. Then, at the end of the game, it's actually after the end of the third round, you're going to look at all the pink ones. Now, all the pink ones you score down below. So it depends on how many you have, that's how many points you get for it. So, for instance, in this case, if you had 6 pink cards in your gardens, you would get 21 points for those pink cards. All right? And that's how that works. Whoever has the most points at the end of the 3 rounds wins the game, which you'll put right here. This is the final scores. So you can see there's a lot of strategy involved here. Do you want to go with the blue cards first and get some points first? But then again, from here on out, you only get 3 more points for each one of these blue ones, where you can be bulking up on the green or even the gray. So it really depends on how you do it. Now, for as many blue cards as you end up getting, if you really think about it, in that first round, say you get, you have, every card you have, every blue card you have in that first round is going to end up scoring you 9 points overall, because you're going to get 3 points for it here, 3 points in the second round, 3 points in the third round. So that's something to think about as well. Same with the green ones. You might not get points in the first round, but you're going to get points here. So you can get at least 8 points for every green card that you start in the second round. Okay, so if say you had 3 of them in the second round, you'll end up getting 12 points overall, because you're going to get those 4 points again in this one, or 8 points, I'm sorry, for each card that you have, because you score them twice here. So there's a lot of strategy involved of what colors you're going to get. Now, sometimes you don't have any kind of say in that, because it depends on what cards you get in your hand. But you can see there's the green, the pink, the gray, and then you also have the blue. Those are the actual 4 colors. And you can see the art on these are really nice. Oops, are these upside down? Yeah, okay. See, the art's really cool on these. You got some rivers, you got some lakes, you got some plants. So I really like the artwork on these. The artwork is really, really cool on these. Really, really nice. But that's it. That is the game. So that's why I say it's kind of like Racco, where you put in the top, you're getting the higher cards, and then you're putting the lower cards in the bottom. But in Racco, you can put the numbers in between, where here you cannot. Once you lay down those numbers, you can only go above that number and below that number. Once you solidify these 2 numbers here, you cannot use any numbers in between. So definitely strategy-wise, if you see someone like in this case, this player was bulking up on the pink cards. As you can see, he has 7 of them there. You might want to, when you have cards in your hand, you might want to just pick up those maybe 2 pinks that are in there, and if they don't work for you, just discard them. That way they don't go away with all these pink cards, because you can see right there, that was 28 points, that alone, and this was only the first round we played. So you really, the pink is the really one you really kind of want to take a gander at when you got these other players, and you see one player starting to bulk up on those pinks, and if they don't work for you, you might want to take them out and discard them and kind of stall that other player. So that's one strategy you want to kind of keep an eye out for. And that, my friends, is Ohanami. So let's head on over to the game room, and I'll give you my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Ohanami. What a cool game. And I tell you, like I said in the intro, the scoring is what makes this game. Do you want to bulk up on blue cards? But then they're only worth 3 points apiece. But if you get quite a few of them at the very beginning, you end up getting 9 points for each one of those cards by the end of the game, because you get those 3 points over and over again in the next 2 rounds. So it really depends, but do you want to bulk up on the pink cards? Because the pink cards, if you have enough of them, you can do some damage there too, along with the gray cards. And then you got the other. So, I mean, it's really, really cool how you do this. Plus, you don't want to just look at your cards. You definitely want to make sure you're kind of taking a peek at all the other players, because one might be bulking up, like I said in the tutorial. One could be silently kind of bulking up on those pink cards, and next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, this player's got 30 points in just pink cards. Let's not even look at the blue or the gray or the other colors. So I think it's a great game. I think it's a very fun game. It only lasts about 20 minutes or so. It's a pretty quick game. You play 3 rounds and that's it. So, and it's one of those games where you're going to want to play again, and you're going to want to play again, and you want to play again. It's one of those games, because you want to say, well, I'm going to try to do it this way, but you don't really know what cards you're going to get. So you might think, well, I'm going to bulk up on the pink cards next time, and then you might not get too many pink cards, and maybe the pink cards in your hand just won't go with your gardens that you have going on. So it's a fascinating game. I definitely give it a thumbs up. Let's break out the thumb meter. There it is. Definitely giving this game a thumbs up, just because of the artwork on the cards looks nice. And I also like that the scoring. I mean, the scoring is so unique. I mean, you really got to think ahead as you're getting these cards, how you're going to try to do this, because you're like, okay, there's a lot of blue cards this round, it looks like, once the cards have gone around. But by the time the cards have gone around, depending on how many players you have, if you have 4 players, you're only going to see those set of cards twice. And that's it. And those cards might not come back to you. And you also have that little gotcha part of it, where maybe you have a card, there's nothing in that stack that will go with you. But you see somebody else has a bunch of pinks, or maybe even some blues, or maybe even some grays. You might want to just take those 2 cards out of the game and just discard them. You can do that too. So that's one thing too, is you don't have to play the cards you draw. So that's something you might forget at times. You always think, oh, I take these 2 cards, I have to play them. No, you don't. You can actually discard them. That way you can keep the other player from getting that many more of that color. So you have that going as well. A lot going on in just a small little box. It's a great game to get. I highly recommend you get it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know if you have the game or if you don't have the game and you're interested in getting the game. That would be great. I always enjoy reading those comments down below, what you think of the game that I reviewed. So, Ohanami, definitely get it if you can find it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy gaming.